with a car loan from ACB, drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Happy Saturday. Welcome to Sports with Mandela. As usual, we start with a quote. Your greatness is not what you have, it's what you give. Morning, Taddy, what's up?
Hey, morning, everybody. Hey, wonderful day today, man. You know, like I have some in my company today. Should I say our company?
Yeah.
So old grammar school guys, you know what I mean? Steve, well, I don't know much about jokey patterns, so you know. Seconds, you know, and Stooge Martin, and we have on Zoom, we have Jack Home is on Zoom. So hey, we should have a good day today. Like I said to you earlier, well, you're the left out one today. You're comprehensive man, it's all grammar school stuff.
Yeah.
So don't get too jealous.
Say some former grammar school.
So some former grammar school.
All about this old business.
But I can tell you one thing about it today earlier, you know what I mean? The wise thing about it, like I'll tell people, I can tell you a long time ago. When they go to grammar school, especially when blocking in those guys, you learn some kind of discipline and athlete. You see the one man who came late today? Alright. When the girls, you learn discipline fast. They teach you that, you know, but like I say, you can introduce a guy, you know Steve Earl?
Yes.
Steve Brown. So introduce yourself, Steve, let the people know where you're from and this and that. Tell the people.
What do you want to know? I was at the grammar school from 66 to 71. Didn't do too badly in track and field. I went off to Morris State on a track scholarship in 71. You know, probably learned, I guess what they call now your trade. I first high jumped at the boys' school in 1960, I think, and
yeah, right.
the person that was the great encourager on that first day at the boys' school for standard points was actually Vivi Richards. You know, and I've been trying for a couple of years now to catch up with him, to thank him personally. You know, one day I was just there relaxing and thinking back on my life, and I said, you know, I never said thanks to him. He was the great encourager. He's a couple of years older than me, and he said, give it a try. You can do it, and that's where my high jump career started. And then we ended up together again at the grammar school.
But I must say something they told me earlier now. The man who's your mentor was Pat Martin, good friend. Sylvester
Albert
yes.
Taught me to pole vault.
Okay.
He actually taught me to pole vault in 3 attempts.
Wow, you're that good?
3 attempts.
You're that good.
Went up to him and he said, just watch me. He did it again, and he said, okay, give it a try. Yes, yeah. That's a person I haven't seen in Probably
Oh, 60 years?
60 years.
I like that, right?
Yes, yes.
And George, I know one of the early boys in grammar school, so you can tell the Antigua and the world about George. Who is George?
Hey, I went to the grammar school 57 to 62.
Right.
And just like this one beside me here.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, we got this one.
What?
Who named this one?
Talk to him, Teddy.
It's a lousy pat.
I think that a group of us went and left the same time, and we might have been perhaps the best three-way athletes you ever had, because we play all sports, we won races, etc., etc. But my connection to the grammar school went before that. My grandmother worked there as a landscaper, and I used to go up there and I used to admire those big boys, those older boys. Just like Barry Chandler would say that he, with Sports Day, would locate himself just below the surface and admired all these guys. So we had those guys as role model long before we went there. What else should I say? As time go by, you'll get a little bit more of who I am and what I did or didn't do.
And then I will ask you if you were better spinball than Fat 2. I want to ask you that question. So
Yes.
make sure you answer. Make sure you answer.
Okay, you want to answer now?
Not yet.
Papa's better.
Did you say something to
Papa mentioned me to say.
I can't add much more to
Right.
what
Seki
Seki has said, George has said. Yeah, I mean,
Seki, same thing.
By the
know
way,
that.
I'm George Martin. In cricket, I was known as Seki, and in football, I was known as Stooge.
Oh,
So
okay.
call me Seki Stooge.
Oh, so Facebook. Okay.
So we were a dynamic group. I mean,
Right.
I mean, we were super. We played the 3-4 sports. And more than that, ping pong too, table tennis. So I mean, we'd walk into places like police canteen or the defense force or in Bill's club or whatever, and we look at each other and say, well, what's going to happen here?
Right.
Because whoever playing there now, not going to get no more play now. It's only running them out the house.
okay.
We running them out the house because we come to play. And then the competition starts among us now.
Right,
you know,
right,
like, and bang he off, and we're going to get vexed for a few hours and
Right,
stuff.
right.
Yeah, but we were super athletes, I thought. I mean, had we put the same energy into the academics, maybe we would be genius.
Right.
You know, but
We played table tennis in the open air. We're so soup. You know how to win?
Right.
Out there.
I remember leaving my house like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Like, I nearly said midsummer, but
Right.
it's summertime. And get home 6 in the evening, and my mother says, Pat, you not hungry? And I said, not really. She said, but if you were here all the time, you would have been hungry and want something to eat. I say, it's all right, as long as I play cricket, football, tennis, whatever. And we played a lot of table tennis in the summertime,
Right.
and you get filled on that.
He didn't play volleyball.
And you did play volleyball.
As I told you, the better athletes didn't play. So I
Right.
grabbed all the
Right.
non-athletes and we had some fun.
We played volleyball.
I think Jack, is that the guy on the Zoom?
Yeah,
I think
Jack.
we have Jack's there. So Jack's. I think you might know him.
What do you mean, Mike? We all went to grammar school at the same time now.
All 7 niggas, Jack.
We're saying, Jack.
And we were in the same house.
Oh,
in the same house.
And yeah, we was Philip's house.
Philip's house.
That's true, Jack.
Philip's house.
So what about this house? There's some semper variant.
Where?
Always flush.
That's the school motto.
That's cool, Mato. That's why the guy is saying Clean Joseph. He's like one guy. He's like ever flourishing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Always flourishing.
Always.
Semper means always.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Jack, tell us about yourself.
Well, like I said, I was in Philip's house. I got to school. I was very skinny and shy back in those days. And I was scared of coming last in any race. I mean, I had the ability to run. But I did that back in my little neighborhood there on New Street. We raced in the street, we ran. But coming to school, a lot of girls from high school came to the sports day. And it would be embarrassing for you to come in last or whatever. So I didn't run until I became house captain. And that's when I started running. But I did very well and excellent, and I played for, I ran for Antigua.
Okay.
I represented Antigua in the games in Barbados. Lester was on the team. Lester was in college then. Ivor was, Ivor finished college. No, Lester finished college. Ivor was in college, but Ivor was lazy. Ivor didn't want to high jump. Ivor did not change his style of jumping. I think Ivor did a straddle.
Scissors, yes.
No,
Western
roll.
roll.
Western roll.
Western
Western
roll.
roll.
No,
Western
not
roll.
Western, roll.
Rolls.
He rolled afterwards, but Anthony Norris, who was the Caribbean champ at the time,
Barbados.
he did the scissors, I
He did
think.
the scissors.
Ivor did the straddle. But there's a new jump called the Fosbury Flop. This guy Fosbury started springing.
68 Olympics.
Blum didn't know about that. But Ivor came second in high jump in the games. Lester did not broad jump because I think he was hurt, but he did a shot put, and he came third. He came third in shot put. He got a bronze. But those were the only two medals because everybody on the team were new to the team, or were new to sports internationally, and I think Jamaica, most all the Jamaican athletes, they were either in college in the United States and some of them were just fresh back from Olympics in Rome. I came fourth in the 800 and I came fourth in the 1500. The 1500 was not my discipline, but in order for sports, Agri Jacobs, to make the team, I had to sacrifice and give up the 400 and run the 8 and the 15 because you have to do two disciplines. So I ran the 8 and the 15. Sports ran the 2 and the 4. Wesley ran the 1 and the 2. But it was an experience for most of us. And then they gave out scholarships. But back in those days, as Pat will tell you, you didn't get scholarships because of your achievement. You got scholarship because somebody knew you or you had somebody in high places.
Yeah, but
But I want to add to what Jack said.
yeah.
I had a Trinidadian partner, a guy who lived here, and I was telling him about grammar school sports day, and I said, the only thing that was more popular in the grammar school sports day was carnival.
Okay.
When grammar school had their sports day, it's jam session up there,
So
people.
that's why Steve took up sports.
We all had to, yeah.
I figured he said his own discipline was only athletics. He didn't play cricket or volleyball.
Maybe.
Maybe that's why he took up the athletics.
You're probably right.
Got the attention all the way to
No, when I went
school and at university.
When I went to school, up to age 30, nobody beat me in a race.
Nobody beat you?
No. And then sports, they come. I'm supposed to win everything. And sports, they come. I came third, fourth, and third. Guess what? In the afternoon, you would run barefoot, right?
Everybody had barefoot.
My foot would be well dried. I come sports day, foot sweating, take off my socks, couldn't get no grip. And I didn't realize that until years later. So the second year, I ran the standards. And I did win the 440 the second year.
Right.
I did come second. In fact, I was going to come first. KD opened up the inside lane for me, and I ran outside, and so I stumbled on KD, and Katie beat me by this. After that, I was not interested in athletics. I ran for the standards. And Pete James and I, you may hear later, we competed in everything against each other, but not sport day.
Okay. But Pat, when Jax was talking a while ago, I heard you couldn't say what Wesley took part in and stuff. What you took part in athletics too?
We all did.
Oh yeah.
He won the first race he ran. He won it.
80 yard. It was 4th division.
Right.
I think it was 12 and under at the time or something
Right.
like that. And so Barry Challenger was supposed to win, and I was supposed to come second. And this boy Labadie, who everybody thinks went to academy school.
Right.
I think his first 2 years were at the Antigua Grammar School.
That's right.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
This is Alwyn.
yeah. Well, guess what?
Alvin, yeah.
80 yards, they got stuck, they got frightened. A guy named Arthur Roberts shot ahead, and I followed him, went past him, won the 80 yards, 1957. Never forget that.
Okay.
And after that, I did the relays for Phillips House.
Okay. And Steve, tell us some of your favorite memory running for inter-house sports and stuff like that.
Yeah. You see, they mentioned standard,
Right.
standard points. Everyone had to participate in standard points.
Right.
And you wanted to participate so that your house would get points.
Right.
And you got points not only in sports, but they actually got points for your academic performance. Your house did.
Okay.
But you started off sports day with the points coming over from standard points. You know, so you wanted to have a good base.
Right.
Your house to have a good base. Like I said, I attempted. I made the standard in every event.
Right.
Tell people, as skinny and weak as I appeared to be, even in shot put. as determined.
You're a strong guy.
I got my standard points. In my final year, on sports day, I participated in every event.
Okay.
I fell in one.
Right.
I came fourth in a couple of them, and the others I was in the top three. My main competition was in the pole vault was Bumpy Nanton. In long jump and triple jump was Lester Flax, and Bumpy also did long jump, triple
Right.
jump. In high jump that year was the main competition that year was I cannot think of the name offhand. But I participated in every event. But the main purpose, or the main reason I did that year, I thought it was time for me to have the most points at the end of a meet. I'm
Okay.
leaving, I'm not coming back.
Okay.
You know, and also it was time for Nanton House to come first. It's the only time in the
house when we were there.
the only time in the 5 years Nanton came first. Nanton came first 1 year, second 1 year, second 1 year, third 2 years, and fourth 1 year in the 5 years. I was
Right.
there. Yeah. But it turned out to be a good year for me.
Okay.
Because shortly after that, I went to the Texaco Southern Games. I don't know if you're aware, but Texaco sponsored the Southern Games in Trinidad annually. It was
Right.
a major international event. We had, when I went, I met some of the top athletes from that era. All the U.S. top athletes were there from the '68
Olympics.
Right.
Olympics. Kipchoge Kino was there from Kenya.
Kenya.
You had the top cyclists from Belgium and of course Trinidad
Right.
and the UK. It was just that the top athletes from everywhere got
Right.
an invitation. Texaco
It's a major international.
Texaco paid for everyone. Once they sent your
Your records.
records, they made the selection.
Right.
Once you were invited, they paid for everything.
Okay. And how was that experience for you?
That was good. I came an unusual thing happened.
Yeah.
I came second in the senior division of high jump
Oh, nice.
but I came second in the senior division with a lower jump than I came first in the second division. I just couldn't get up there. But because of my age, if you are junior, you're permitted to participate in a senior event.
Okay.
So I actually came fourth in the shot put. There are people looking at me like, where is he going? I tried to prove a point to myself.
Self, right.
And all these big guys, and I said, I came third in the triple jump, fourth in the long jump. There were some excellent long jumpers there that year.
Yeah.
And shortly after, in part from the having met the U.S. coach,
Right.
I ended up with a track scholarship to Murray State. But it was the U.S. team coach who first said, when I was leaving a few days ago, we had a scholarship left. If it's still there, it's yours.
Right.
And then he came the night and he said, I have good news and bad news. Which one you want? So I said, the bad news. He said, the bad news is, remember I told you I left one and we were waiting to see if somebody would take the offer. He said, they took the offer. I said, so what's the good news?
Right.
And he said, well, the good news is I believe you know a gentleman by the name of Frederick Sobey. So I said, yes. He said, his coach, Bill Cornell, is a very good friend of mine. And he called Bill and he said, while he's talking on the phone to Bill, somebody enters the office and he heard Bill say, Fred, do you know a lad by the name of Steve Brown? And Fred said, that's him on the phone? If that's him, if you can get him, take him.
Right.
And that's how I got the scholarship to Murray State. And by that time, we had Fred Sobey, Granville Buckley, Pat Francis were also at Murray
Right.
on track scholarships. And so the coach didn't have any. I had a recommendation from the U.S. coach.
Right.
And the recommendation was, in third place of the recommendation was my ability in my events. Other people don't realize scholarships, sports scholarships in the US, they look at three things. The first question they ask is, how about those grades?
Right.
The second question they have somebody tell them about you is, how is he a disciplined person?
Right.
Is he coachable?
Right.
Then they get to, because they'll tell you, I don't care if you get gold medals every day of the month.
Right.
If you have the bad attitude, we don't want you.
True.
And if you don't have decent grades, because the grade requirement for remaining on a team are more stringent than the grade requirements for remaining in the university.
Right.
And not as much then, but today, schools make a lot of money from sports. And at the end of the year, you would see the stats for the best student athlete for the year, grade point average and how well they did.
Right.
They combine all of that to see. But and Murray was a good place. I was here Lester Flack saying he wouldn't change his experience at Murray for anything. He enjoyed it.
Right.
Going there's some people who sort of said, well, expect some blowback from the white folks. We
Right.
didn't experience that.
Okay,
We
okay.
got treated like royalty, actually. We got not ashamed to say we got treated specially.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Coaches in the U.S. treat their athletes well. They treat their better athletes the way they treat their children.
Right.
They look out for you. Is everything okay? So much so, I know we had an athlete, pole vaulter, who had a little disciplinary problem one time, and coach called his father. And his father flew down there and bust his ass and went back on. It's, you know,
That's why God is brilliant.
Steve, that's all the grammar school I'm not
it's all right. but you kind of been kind of conditioned to think that this doesn't happen in white families, right? This is this is a man that he says a wealthy gentleman. I mean, he flew down in his own plane specifically to say, I spoke to you twice on the phone.
Right.
Yes.
And I get a complaint, and he's here, and he say, Coach, can I borrow him for about an hour?
Right.
Came to the dorm and cut his ass. and then left right after
Right.
to the little airport in town and
I
flew
flew back.
That's some good story, eh?
That don't have no more. Eh?
Oh no, it can't happen. But you know,
You want to arrest the father?
But it's strange thing about it, you say the coaches know, the schools make a lot of money now.
Yeah.
And that's checking in with Deion Sanders connection, get it? Make a couple millions a year for when your coaches in a big school, they make a lot of money.
we couldn't take $10. You know, what coach did so we could get some extra pocket money is the team had an opportunity to work at sporting events, manning the concession stands.
Okay.
So he would select, if there are 4 stands, he'll select, maybe we will get one, we'll run one, and there'll be between a minimum of 6 or 8 persons. So you go, you work first quarter or first half, and then the other half, others come and you switch up, and you get a few dollars. And if he wanted to give you $10, he'll bet you that you can't do something that he knew you could do.
But they want to jump back in quickly.
Yeah.
They don't want to miss the opportunity to get it Pat and Seki and the old grammar school days. And
But before I get in, I just want to tell him that Mark is in West Palm Beach, Florida, watching you guys, and he say good morning to Steve.
Which man got?
Mark
Charles.
Yeah, Mark Charles. He's in Palm Beach, Florida.
He's a technical man around here.
In Florida, watching
He
you
went
guys.
left yesterday.
So he say good morning.
Morning.
And what branch house was grammar school house?
I was in Branch House.
Cleve said branch house, so I assume that's his house, branch house.
Everybody, had that kind of loyalty.
Oh,
Did you
Branch
hear
House.
what Jack said?
Yes.
Wenty Humphries. he
So
said-
everybody here branch house guys?
No, the 3 of us were Phillips House.
Oh, Phillips House. Oh, okay.
Jack, myself, and Seki. We're all in Phillips House.
So who best
Phillips House, yeah.
Who's the best house?
No, don't even ask that. Attempt not to ask that question.
Wait. I want to jump in again.
Because Teddy's
Hey.
a branch out.
I want to jump in again. I want to jump in because Seki Stu said he was a better spin bowler than me, but I know you're a spin bowler. I never said
You're missing the point.
what I'm missing the point.
Maybe he was a better spin ball, but I used to know how to out people. I could talk you out. You see this thing what the Australians have, what they call it, sledges? I could tell you can't bat. You can't bat. You can't bat. I went out you know.
So you sledge people and good.
Yeah, bat.
All right. You get the answer. That time you pick a bullshit.
Incidentally, one of my brothers was in Phillips House. And then there was 3 of us there at the time. So my brother Derek was in Phillips House. My brother Lyle was in Affleck, one of the new houses, and I was in Nanton.
Okay.
But those 2 houses, Nanton and the other one, didn't last too long. What happened?
They were there. I don't know. It changed after we left. Probably what around 7.
It changed after we left, yeah.
Yeah, but they were there for at least 6 years.
Yeah.
But they want to jump in again. Like I hear Jack Tarway, good athlete, represent Antigua. I heard Jack is like a waste man that's who come in last and all.
I never lost a race in Antigua. I went to St. Kitts after school. And I came back. I wasn't training in the St. Kitts, but I came back and they had a race. And Sobe was there saying he was going to beat me. And Sobe didn't want to run when I came back because he was talking before I got back. And I begged him, please, to run. I mean, let the competition look good. And Sobe beat me right at the tape. But that's the only race I ever lost in Antigua. I never lost it. I also ran a half marathon. I ran marathons, a half marathon from along there, and I came first.
Okay. I'm going to jump in again, okay? It sounds like this thing in this family, you know. I was talking to your cousin last night. Well, my coach, my girls looking coach, Norris.
Yeah.
And Norris is the only one who's even lose to Katie Thomas. You don't get Katie to win, and now they just beat him every time. And Norris was.
No, Norris could run. Norris could run.
Nice, good run.
Oh,
He may be watching the show, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
He may be watching.
But you know, you mentioned Fred Sobey a few times, and I want to interject here that one of the best things that has ever happened in sports for Antigua and Barbuda, not just the fact that Fred held world records, a lot of people don't know that. Fred had the world record, indoor world record in the 800.
Go ahead.
He still holds, and I tease him about this one. He still holds the 500 world record, and I tease him all the time. So that's because they don't want it anymore. and at the masters level, he holds world record.
Okay.
Held a world record.
Okay.
But
Explain.
I also want to say he's fantastic person, as a person, you know. You can't ask for a better friend, a better companion, a better person to look out for you. You know, when Cuthbert Jacobs and I first went to Maui, of course we were there, we trained 5 days a week generally, but every night, at about 20 minutes to 8, you either had a knock on the door or your phone would ring, and it would be Fred. Junior athlete, you're studying in the dorm or you're studying in the library. You know, and Fred he and coach were tight, so Fred would say, what is this? You only got a C on your midterm grade for English, you know. And I say,
Oh, you
how
know
in
that.
the world he would know that? You know? But he
look out for you.
He look out for you. It's how he and I are good friends to this day. I mean, we speak with each other at least every couple of months.
Okay.
You know, but it's a fantastic person.
Explain this to me, Your Honors. Fred distinguished himself indoors.
Yes.
He never seemed to have done well outdoors.
Outdoors.
Explain that to me.
That's a good question.
He can't explain it either. he will tell you that the old track at the grammar school on the Westfield with the sharp turn. He said
Bottom field.
Yeah, bottom field. He says, didn't realize it at the time. God was preparing him for indoors. You know, because
So that's why. That's why.
the curves on the indoor tracks can be tight.
Very tight.
Extremely tight.
And Graham was the top
They used
spot
to
of
call
his
it, you know, a lot of them were wooden tracks.
For years he was
he was known as the
I used to go
chairman.
and see him at the
They used to
Madison
call
Square
him
Garden.
the chairman of the boards.
That's right.
But your dad, George, you say your dad had some records at grammar school, you said. But you know, your dad had some records at grammar school, you said.
Yeah. My dad in 1943 did what Lester did in 57. Won all 8 events.
Okay.
But they lost the records
Grammar school.
from
Antigua.
before 1950.
Okay.
And so there was nothing to explain
To
him.
reflect.
You know what it would have done for my ego?
Right, right.
To say, but it might have been better not, because I had to prove it to myself.
In a similar situation now, a lot of records are not there.
Right.
Because I know between, well, there are two fires.
Right.
The library at Grammar School.
Grammar school actually had a library.
I used to borrow a book from the library.
Yeah, they had a library. The library was West Stanley, West Stanley. Yeah, a library was back there. But nobody went to
Jax,
it.
you say something?
There's a
He said
library.
like was Jack said a library was there. A library was
Oh,
there.
your
said.
papa.
Yeah, library was there. Library was over by West Stand. We had a workshop.
Right.
There's a whole library there, but nobody went into the place.
No, we had
Yeah.
we had a library.
Where's the Stanley?
I think A was Stanley used to be, that was,
Yeah, in that general area.
yeah.
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 But tell us, Pat was any good footballer? Okay, you say you're super footballer.
No, well,
Pat
listen.
was any
Well, you
good
don't ask
footballer?
Pat.
I want to ask Seki, man. Seki, Pat is a good footballer.
Yes, he's a good footballer.
Tell a lie, you know.
He could have been better. He said if he understood the game, it would be better.
Oh, okay.
But you remember the year when Mr. Foot stopped the whole team, fifth form, all them guys that was in fifth form? Ivor Bird took a lollipop, one of frozen stuff, and busted across Mr. Foot's head.
Yeah,
Pat was there. I think Pat was there.
Pat was
But
always-
back in those days in school, you couldn't tell tales. Nobody could have said who did it.
Grammar school didn't tolerate snitches.
No scream. Right, I didn't snitch. And
Nobody
I did not
too.
own up. And they suspend the whole,
Yeah.
all the, punish their,
No, here it is.
who did it?
Because the
All the
body.
guys in fifth form that played in the football team couldn't play. And that's how well, all them young guys got in
They
the
got
team.
played, yes. I mean, they came from my jersey and they said, shit, you're not giving my jersey. They found it. No, here's the situation. You're right, you need not to call me. What happened is, Errol James, a master, tell me, go to Juice and buy this special orange juice for him.
Right.
So I wasn't there. So when I come back now, I sit there all quiet. So I look around. Mr. Foot said, have a seat. But sir, I wasn't there. You were part of the school, of the class. Sit down. So 3:30 comes now. Sir, I have to play with school football today.
Yeah.
Foot said, you were playing for the school. So I got this shit like all of them, and I wasn't there.
That is something, right?
But tell me something, Jordan. When you say introduce volleyball to grammar school,
Yes, I did.
how was that experience?
Well, as I said, I used to pass by King George where they played volleyball.
Right.
They always asked me to play. And I look at it as some sissy game, don't want to play.
Right.
One day, for some reason, I played and I fell in love with the game. The grammar school at one stage had a lawn tennis ground, court. And it was still kept very well. And so I decided that I'm going to introduce the game to the school. And as I said, most of the people who were attracted were the non-football and athletes.
Right.
They come around, but they didn't last long. They had other business to do. Right. Now, here is something that happened. When we were there, we talk a lot of indecent language. Bad words to kill, the worst ones. And Father Brown living upstairs would sneak up, trying to catch us, but he couldn't. Well, time for exam come. Father Brown said, you're the one I always see performing. And I was the only one who wasn't talking bad way. And Father Brown gave me, I got 59, and Father Brown put the pattern out to 60. And the two subject he had, and he screwed my ass, and I didn't realize what was happening until 40 years later. I said, let me look back. That's what he fucked me up for. Hey, cut all the words.
That's okay, go ahead.
I'm not expressing my feelings.
But Stooge, I want to interrupt you a little bit. Take about just a bit too. You say when you pass King George, you saw they playing this thing. I thought, what kind of game you thought it was?
Rounders.
I said, I go back there for reason. So when you invite Pat to go in the game,
volleyball.
that game was more for Pat sissy game.
We all played volleyball.
It's no sissy game, man.
No, we all played
It's
volleyball in
good.
grammar school too.
Yeah,
We used to
but
play at the West End down here. You see where they have the car park and
Yeah.
every time I pass here and I can close my eyes, I try and close my eyes.
I
I
see,
don't want
sir.
to see here. Because how day has deteriorated. We played all kind of things down
that's
here.
true.
Yeah.
The big boys played higher up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
To get competition, to get competition, I had to line up 3 and 4 of them and then score. You know, and as I said, we used to have a competition where other military people would come in and challenge the existing 2 naval base, and they would have an island team. There were added about 4 or 5 of us to the team, and we played against these guys. And so that's how I became early 16 played for volleyball.
Volleyball.
So you played at 16 volleyball for Antigua?
Yes.
They were shot players. They were shot players.
They were sharpless.
Daddy is strange about this now. Most grammar school players who could play anything.
Right.
Usually got a chance to play for Antigua at 16, you know.
Okay.
Most of us got into the national side.
Cut me down.
No, for real, no. You got in at 16, 17.
Yeah,
Boom.
Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley.
15,
yeah.
16.
Well in, you know. Barry,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, grammar school was a stepping stone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
we used to feed the national team. And the sad thing about it, we had to do it on our own impulse, not training and coaching.
Right.
But like I keep saying in this show, them days in the coaches, you're the senior guys who teach you things.
No. True. What senior guys?
But the lack of coaches come back to haunt you
I can agree.
later on.
Yes.
Right.
You know, I mean
But
the knee injuries, the hip injuries.
Oh, right,
that
right.
require another show. I mean, you look at Gary Sobers, he's against coaching totally. And you look at some of the people who were great, right? And because they're telling you about their style. I mean, what Vivian Rich is going to tell these batsmen today? How to bat? They don't have his heart. And his mentality, they don't work in the same neighborhood.
They
don't
don't
see that kind of
And-
competition.
And they never played Pusha.
Well, coming back to what Pat said,
You know, Pusha is where a lot of people don't realize, you know.
You don't know about
Pusha?
That's where you learn. That's where you learn
Wake
to
up.
cook. Because, like, for example, I mean, I was no big cricketer, but if a grandmother said, "Don't play in that sun," if the ball go over the railing, it have to stay there. So you're playing on a gallery, and a nice ball comes to you, and you really want to
Pull it.
put it.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do at the last minute is rotate your wrist so it stays on the gallery.
Okay.
I say this, Daddy, and I say this, I've always said, watch Vivian Richards play forward defensive when he's playing a defensive shot, and that is how he batted when he played Pushan, eh? Right over,
Right
and so,
over, yeah.
yeah. Because, I mean, I know him since
You have to
he
keep the
creeping
ball.
and falling.
Right,
You have to
Tennis
keep the
basket.
ball in a
You know, you
That's
watch
it,
how he
okay.
plays it.
designated area.
Yeah.
and you had 2 teams, serious competition. And sometimes we played in a golf ball, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Golf and so.
because when
And then you have to learn to catch, yeah?
when you played with the golf ball, all you had to do is make the ball reach to the bat. You didn't have to do anything. It would take off.
Yeah.
You see, notice Steve got his push thing.
Yeah.
Most pushers are playing point. When I lived down there, right, every street had their own
On the
team.
street.
Had their own test team.
Oh, Grace Farm.
No.
Yes, boy, point out every team. Every team had a
What you're
test team.
saying, Terry, it's
Others-
true. But people played, you know, outside the Deanery and King John. Everybody played the cricket in the street with the coconut batter, with the batter of a coconut
that's
tree
right.
or something like that.
They played the team in push.
Yeah. Were you playing Deanery 10 years after I done preparing the field?
No, Jackson's playing cricket?
No, he is running all the time.
Oh, running. Oh, he just
You know something about Jax?
Porcupine.
You know, sir, Jax hasn't told you what he specializes in. Now. Jack's whole family are excellent swimmers now.
Okay.
When Jax and his brothers go to Fort James, they don't swim course now. They go to redundant and come back.
I play cricket in my school.
Yes.
I play for school.
Huh?
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, I play for school. Barry played on the 22. My brother Barry played on the 22 for Antigua.
Yeah, remember that. Yeah.
Even got a wicket, and Mr. Walling tell him he's still young and he has a chance. He never got another chance.
But then
But back in those days, there's a Pat can tell you, them man in Antigua, them older guys play cricket till they're 40 and 50, and if they didn't drop down dead, you couldn't get picked. Those guys, yeah, the older guys stay there forever.
This thing about you're young was a disservice to many athletes.
Yes.
Because
Or you don't have
you never
or you don't have experience. You have no experience.
Yeah.
You can't get experience until you play.
until you play. You know,
I will say this,
Go ahead.
and I said, you see Rasberg Jacobs? I am glad that he played for West Indies. But when they rooting for Rasberg as a wicketkeeper, as a batsman, sir, I thought he was past his peak now as a batsman. I thought he was a much better batsman before they called him to West Indies side now. When you look at his form and his results and so on, yes, he deserved his West Indies selection. I'm not saying he didn't, but they just overlooked the guy for years and years and years. And I know he should have had better performances
Right.
had he been called.
I want to jump back at you in the swimming stuff.
Yeah.
And those guys who were done there, the sisters.
yes.
But I can tell you something about that. I can tell you something about that. I remember some years ago, Barry Harvey and my uncle was in Antigua for a long while.
Jim? Yeah.
And they used to go float every day, and the routine was swim to sisters and back. I said, Uncle Jim, why they do that? The man goes swim to sisters and back. He and Barry Harvey.
And Thompson would do that too. No, and Thompson's very good. But what I can recall, I remember somebody had a car who would drive, and we were going over to Halcyon. And these guys gave us the clothes. A guy named Marsh, who was from English Harbour, whatever, and Eugene Walters and all these guys. And said, look, we'll meet you guys over at Halcyon. And this is from 4 James now. And they swim out.
Yeah.
And then come all the way around to Halcyon.
Why you driving going so?
I don't see people swimming like that now.
They do that on force. Young people swim to sisters and back and so.
No?
8, 10, 11, 12 years old.
Okay.
This guy, guy, Edwards guy, he died now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leo.
Some
Ramadin Pat. Ramadin had a swim club.
Yeah, they're very good. Young people swim. But they swim across 4 just they swim back like they're walking.
Listen, I remember I got alarmed. I hadn't seen them for a while. His brother Barry, we up at Atmosphere. Fed finished Saturday morning, 5, 6 o'clock, me and Clem. So we're going down to 4 Gs. We're going to take a little dip. Now Barry looked like he was drunk. I'm not going to say he was drunk. And Barry,
He probably was. He probably was.
And Barry, like, I don't want to know if he sank his cigar. So I said, look, boss, let me tell you now, Crampa, if anything go wrong with you now, you alone out there, because even if anybody there would have tried to go and get him, they couldn't. And they were good swimmers. He, Lucine, Barry, all of them. Barry having them a family to know. Excellent swimmers now. Yeah.
I used to see Barry, my uncle, they go float every day to swim to sisters and back.
Dr. Ephraim, Charlie Bunda, he too. When you go down there with Charlie and them, and so you have to cuss them.
Right.
Because when they jump off and go swim now, nobody can save them because nobody can go where they're going. You know he's out there because you see the speck. See the speck. That's all you see.
But Pat, you remember that time down 4 James, them guys were swimming out, going all the way out. And Palmer, you remember Palmer from St. Kitts?
Yeah. Some Rodney Street.
Palmer was with them, and I think a dolphin or a porpoise swam by. Somebody yelled shark. And these guys turned around and headed back to shore. Palmer got tired and Palmer was drowning. Smarty must have seen some movie where people drowning and you knock them out and help them in. Smarty started to thump Palmer. Palmer won't get knocked out. When they got to show everybody tired, Palmer run off for a store and try to knock down Smarty. Smarty trying to kill him. The smart you're trying to say. The smart you say the movie, you could knock out a man. It's easier to bring him in than to try to rescue him because young people can join this.
Back to really pushing for a while.
Yeah, go ahead.
But talk about developing pattern.
Right.
You better develop good reflexes. Because when you bowl and that guy hit you hard, I see Paul Simon bowl the ball, and the next thing you know, right in his forehead, it swell immediately. So you better have good reflexes.
Good reflexes.
When the ball coming out there.
Yeah.
But Pat George say he was a good Batman, that's true?
Listen, our side could play anything,
Yeah.
anywhere.
Hey, that's
I said I was a
right.
good batsman when Earl Michael took me under his wing and told me you have to develop a defensive play. After that, because I had all the shots,
Right.
I'm gonna get out trying to play all the shots.
Stop lie. you said earlier when at grammar school, you make more ones than all them. They have big name, but you make the most ones.
It's possible.
You
But we were not in grammar school.
bat him 9 and 8 and all kind of stuff.
He was a Trojans, and I was at Antigua Sugar Factory.
No, when he was going to school, he said he batted 9,
No.
and he make more ones than the guys in front.
Average runs because I never get out. The partners always. Look, I play for grammar school.
You say like 40
Listen
and all
there.
that.
Listen, I play for grammar school. They back me number 8
And 9.
and 9.
Yeah.
I go there. I tell the other guy, just hold straight so I can get something. Bam, one ball. Other guy, bam, one ball. Next thing you know,
That's all.
He get
so
away.
you get no head.
So tell me something. See,
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second here.
Okay.
Second innings. Of course, they put me up number 6 or 5, right? And so me there at the other end. And somebody hit the ball straight to mid-on, or mid-off, and he ran down the wicket. And so I had a choice.
run out.
I could make him run out.
Sacrifice is wicked for the person.
I decided that, okay, Pass is my friend. I come out to cricket. A whole game, 2 innings, and never received one.
But so second, you want for you know, you know. Because all them not told you batting in this out. A pat never lasts long enough. Pat never lasts long enough so you can hold in for you.
Ask him now.
But Pat could make no ones you look sound like.
No, couldn't. You know where my batting was? As captain of the ground school side, right? And it was selfish. Okay? And you look back and say,
Wait. Say a while ago.
it was selfish.
Like,
on my part.
hey, second says earlier, you know.
But I say
He
so.
said so earlier.
I say so. We go up to grammar school. Practice session. You have openers, right? New ball, new. Pat Martin's going bat first, and then the openers after. You know, so we go with that kind of progression.
And you feel.
Yeah. And I don't feel. I come on board.
When you don't feel.
No, I don't feel.
I tell you,
I'm a feeling sessions. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about Pat Martin's going to catch and learn to feel, but by himself.
No.
Or where we can find it. With
No.
that with the team.
Of
Okay.
course.
Yeah, right.
Listen now, 5 of us decide to strike against him.
I'm a friend.
Hey, Taddy.
Beach sport.
Hey, Taddy.
Get Jackson.
Go ahead, Jack.
Get Jackson.
Hat will bat when it's time to feel you can't find him gone.
All right. So we strike against him. And he complained to Barnes. And Barnes hollers him. And Barnes said, well, you know, this. I don't know where he's going because he can force us to play. Colonel Branch, the last bursar for the school, heard it. And he said, take away the cap, take away this, take away that, take away that. I shouted, sir, we don't get these things anymore. Barnes turned blue. End of confrontation. We went back and next game we played with him, but you know, selfish like shit.
You know, it's funny though, because we are all friends now.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to play. And it's not the first time they strike now. Second class cricket too. I was what, 14 or 15? Same thing. I just say we're not playing on the Pat. Not that you don't know the game, but the cricket is going to be about Pat. And you supported Pat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
All about Pat.
No, here's the contrast. When I captained the football team, I said, Pat, let me get your opinion. Let me get your opinion. And I used consensus. And that's how Wesley came on, because I manufactured consensus
Right.
so that when the time came for me to choose Wesley, I had the backing of the better players.
Hey, wait.
So,
Pat was
two
one of
conscious
the better players.
Oh, he don't tell you that already?
Pat was one of the better players.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Wait a minute,
What he said?
Ask me, what sport?
Was Pat? Any sport, Pat was one of the better players.
You
Generally, yeah,
Pat, you said Hey, look, you said earlier, you said earlier, Pat was all about Pat. So you shouldn't want him on the team.
Maybe, but that's what happens when you're a teenager.
You should try him out of the team. You should try him out of the team.
No,
Listen.
They wouldn't have no team, they don't tell me I have no team.
Listen. You tell you that. I had to keep it on my wing to protect you from other people.
Daddy, you hear that, all of that? They fire me from Acme, a team that we started. You and
Me fire
you and Tim Hecker.
No, Tim Hecker.
But here the move. And the next year I go to the Antigua Sugar Factory. And the first 4 games I'm striking for Antigua Sugar Factory. First 4 games I have 7 goals. The only person who had as many goals as I had was Tixie, playing for Arsenal or whatever their name in the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Arsenal.
Right. So,
Jets and so.
I mean, but what had happened when we went to Acme? We were all cocky because we were in a big grammar school side, so we can't. And it's grammar school who showed us up, because Les and Welling were still in grammar school, and they were good players, and they were key players.
Right.
Playing against us.
Right? They were
Bring
key
us up.
players. So we go up there and start to fool around, and we couldn't even beat grammar school.
As he said, everybody was beginning to be a man.
Right.
Girls and all kind of things and so on and so. But that's not why we lost. We lost because at school we had Welling, the great distributor.
Lost or won?
Acme.
Well, playing for grammar school, while we played for Acme.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have, after we left school, most of us stayed together, but we weren't a grammar school only team. We brought in everybody. But Welling was still in school, and Les had not begun to show his quality. And these 2 guys are 2 of the best distributors around at that time. So without Welling, there's a big gap between the forwards and the defense. And there's where we lose, because other people will capitalize on that gap and keep pressuring the defense, kept pressuring the defense, and we can't get the ball to the offense.
I mean, Les was pretty good.
Yeah, Les is good.
Good player in midfield with Welling.
And you know, it's funny, where they learned their soccer from, because it's something we were doing before, right? A guy came back here named Eddie Michael, and nobody would know that he was a sports
Eddie
person.
Michael was teacher.
Tim's brother, Tim Michael brother.
Yeah.
But what happened, he went to UWE and whatever, and he went to France for postgraduate work or whatever,
right.
and learned
Good.
the art form, the
Yes.
soccer, real soccer.
Yeah.
Come back here, boom. Les and son pick it up.
That's right.
Them guys ran with it.
That's true.
I remember him, Eddie.
And you never hear his name mentioned as a sports person.
I remember
But
him.
he was a typical Michael. I mean, he and Keith and Tim, they would talk all day about sports.
What happened to Derek?
Of course.
But Derek was less than all of them.
There was worse.
I thought Derek was as bad as Keith. Keith could play everything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But Derek could come up with the most ridiculous theory. And that was his problem. Instead of going and play the down ball at merit, he has to position yourself this way, you think this way, and that's not his type. He was a natural.
But you see, they had to do it, Taddy, because they were nervous people. They were very, very nervous. Now, I know that I in a dressing room in Sankis in 62 with Derek and Keith. And his crew, we ball into Derek, and his crew, we ball into Keith, and what kind of shot Keith plays. And by the time they finish batting at the hotel, they're done tired because they can't go to the park to play nothing.
I hear Keith, Sunday night, all the players doing something. He'd go and shot a bat for 3 hours.
Well, that's the most batting they're going to get. They get no batting.
So practice in the room a lot.
What I'm talking to now.
No, but Derek, I used to like Derek. Derek at times would make some half decent run. And boy, you never see
It was entertaining,
shots
I think.
like that.
Right.
Derek was quite
As somebody said, only Frank Worrell was prettier than Derek. Unfortunately, he didn't make it often enough for him to be considered.
Right.
But I must say, having heard all that, that's what distinguished the great Viv from those guys. Viv had a heart. Those guys,
What?
those guys didn't have a
That's
heart.
right, that's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
really for real. I mean,
I know.
but it's the over thing now. It's the over thing. You come over with dear son, you know what's going to happen, right? I mean, we all played in tennis bars.
Right.
And if he wasn't making enough runs in tennis bars, you know you do? He'd go over to Nelson Street by Keith Edwards' place.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
where he's going to get most of his
Yeah.
batting. Not that he couldn't bat.
Yeah.
But you know, he's younger than us by 6-7 years. So he might make 14, let's say, over there.
Right.
Well, you make 70 and over the place, so you can get all the batting
Right,
you can
right.
over Nelson Street. Yeah.
And I tell you, just like Pat said, the ovals thing. When the ovals have it tough.
Right.
And nobody give me credit in ovals now.
Yeah, it's good.
I remember, I can never forget it when Viv scored 291 in England. I always tell people about it. I was going across the road and his father made old Zendike step, picking out the bread. So I said, oh boy, Mitch, boy, Viv did good to them, man. He said, hey, you full of shit.
Yeah.
You should get out, so. Can't bat.
I remember that innings.
Right.
I went to work, and I'm saying now, we're going to break that 365 things, the 291 at lunch. When we check it out, the man don't make them runs.
But
Done.
Danny Mitchell's father told, I used to, we're good, I was close with all of them. He said he blamed Clive Lloyd. He said Clive Lloyd had Vivian, which was running between wickets, 291. No, let the man bat and get the 300, but you don't have to run no single
That's
twos
right.
all the time.
That's
and
right, that's
I mean,
right,
I
that's
did
right.
not fully understand
Yeah,
what he was
but-
trying to say.
Yeah,
But that's Danny Mitchell.
I didn't expect 300. By the way, I'm in Toronto, and it's lunch time. It's breakfast time for me, England, right? So I go down now. Uptight. Who I'm going to call? 300. It's 365 I was going for. Yeah. The way he was batting, it was inevitable. But that break.
But you know, this changing about that too. He hit the 1-6 in that innings.
1-6?
He didn't hit 86.
Oh.
And I said to him, I remind him, see, that come from over his training. He see the pass where Keith Edwards.
You hit the ball.
If you hit a 6 over the fence,
The ball.
I
You mean, I get the ball again?
no, you're batting done. You take the 6,
Yeah.
we're out.
Yes, six and out.
Okay.
Yeah, the man challenger.
And he says,
And he-
and then I go over the fence, you get a 6, but that's the end of batting.
So Jax, you used to play down there too?
No.
Country
I
Pond.
played up by Country Pond there.
The Matching Brothers.
I played up by the old Rivals pitch.
That's right.
You also had something just north of the East Pond too. Because you're playing while the other guys practicing professional.
Yeah, Trojans had a concrete pitch. They had Rivals, and Rising Sun was to the east of that.
Yes.
And Terry, they all forget it. And I laugh when they do it.
What?
Police had a pitch there, no, Terry.
Police,
Yeah,
You
police.
see up
Police,
in Parliament
yeah.
buildings, huh?
yeah.
Police had their strip up there too.
That's right.
So when it's cricket season, the whole of East Street full of cricket from St. John's,
St. John's.
to Trojans,
Okay.
to Rivals,
Rivals,
to Rising Sun, to Police.
So I like about
Police
five-
had
five-
a
five-
police.
five-
Yes.
Police had a team.
Police had a cricket team.
Good team.
No, that's pitch up there.
Yeah, they had a pitch up there too.
Good
yeah.
team, good team.
Yeah.
Steve, you know,
Police had a cricket team. Police had a track team also. They had a track team with them two Dover guys, Sam Dover and Basil
What happened
Dover.
in school?
Gray, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Jack.
Roger, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Police had an athletic team.
The man Philip, he went out to Edmonton.
Which Philip?
He
Philip?
was equal to Wright George as an inspector, man. Something Philip was his name. All these are super athletes now. Because police was very active in the community. They were real people.
Who Philip that?
Phillips was the discus thrower.
Gray. Yeah, Gray threw discus and javelin.
Who threw the javelin?
Gray, I think Gray threw javelin also. But yeah,
What happened to
Dover,
Barrow?
out by Country Pond there,
What
Miss
happened to Barrow?
Dover's sons.
What happened to what was
You
the
says-
did besides cannonball? Wesley
Barrow, I think
discus
Barrow threw
and,
shot put and javelin, I think. A Gray threw discus.
Gray and Phillips always when the West Indies police thing in Trinidad.
Philip.
One was discussed and one was a...
Yeah, Philip went
Philip
out and
governance was discussed.
he was equal to like George, same ranking and so on. They went into the force at the same time. He went out to live in Edmonton after he became an inspector. or
You
whatever.
said you met him there?
I saw him, I didn't meet him. You know, because when I'm in North America, sometimes I see people and don't call them.
They say you don't call you too.
I say, well, yeah, that don't make no difference.
But Steve, when you were competing for grammar school, who was some of the school you famous when you were competing?
But school doesn't
I
pick up.
didn't
The school doesn't pick up.
Oh, the school
No,
now?
no, the school in nothing.
Or grammar school has that be?
Yeah,
I
PM,
mean,
no, they didn't have.
PM and
PM had
Academy.
their open space,
Uh-huh.
an academy and so on, but outside of that, the other
You're not into
schools
school,
were
I think.
It was only those,
No.
on 2 occasions, we had a inter-school sport between grammar school, academy, and PM.
Right.
One year it came down to the tug of war, and academy beat us.
What? I remember that.
You know what that means, right?
Oh, yeah, but you know, we made some
what?
foolish decisions.
What? They beat you guys
You
in
know, they
Togo.
beat us. But generally speaking, in my events, I didn't have a fear of anybody.
You beat everybody.
We pretty much knew, Bumpy and I pretty much knew that one of us would come first or second.
Second.
Even
You know,
even the hundreds and so on. Boys' school had a few good guys. Yeah, you look back at Pat King.
Yeah.
Boys are very good athletes. Boys are very good athletes.
Nibs.
Pat
Oh,
King,
he's a-
they had Cyril Nibs.
A matter of fact, now it's mentioned Nipsey up the last night.
Okay.
Now it's mentioned.
Cyril Nibs,
Yeah.
we had them guys, Albert, I think there were 2 Albert brothers.
Yeah, Sylvester.
Yeah,
and-
James
and-
tried to outrun with the football and he couldn't.
And there's a boy in Skerrit, Pringle.
He couldn't beat me in the
Only
football
because-
games, but he could
Huh?
beat with tape.
Well, Jack.
I could measure up with tape.
No. Only because Pringle was in Skerrit, or Pringle could have gone places, because he could run.
Who?
Pringle.
A guy Pringle was in Skerrit. The guy Pringle was in Skerrit.
Remember that.
Yeah,
He's very good. A guy, Glanville.
Oh no, Glanville.
Glanville was good.
Glanville
Yeah,
was
Glanville was
super
good.
Yeah, remember
But
Glanville.
Glanville, I'm gonna say he was a gambler.
You mess up his head.
When I say gambler, for him to perform, he had to bet.
Okay.
And when he bet, that's what he said. No, he had to bet.
I remember him.
Say,
Yeah.
best of him.
Yeah.
He's one of them guys. Yeah,
And he came back here,
They were
no.
over,
And
they were
I'm not
the
sure
guys.
if he died or he might have died a year ago. Came back here, and he ended up in this, in the charity house, poor house, and I hate the name. I was trying to find an appropriate name for
Where them guys always
Fines.
they always
Fines
they
Institute.
always live in the edge, eh?
right, Fines
They
Institute.
never get beyond.
Glanville could play ping pong, table tennis. In there we used to go and play table tennis now.
That's right.
We grammar school boys, a set of us, who go skirt and play table tennis. We look any way that anything could have been played with ball,
We got it.
we saw them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for games, I didn't go to Gracie because it was too much. I changed at the school with Robin and Patricia Lil, and I would go down to the skirt, and I saw some things there that, oh God. I see this 8-year-old little kid did something, and they strip him. He lied down on the bench, and that big guy Richards hit him with a jean belt 10 fucking times. Sorry, guys.
Right. But
Hope you could get it.
a lot of guys who went to training school in those times don't even want to hear about Richards now. They don't want to hear about
No,
Richards.
because these guys were
But
just.
he brought some discipline, which is discipline for their period. But it wasn't the right type of discipline.
But I don't even think it's a discipline for that period. These kids need love and affection. They didn't do anything outstanding, a crime or so.
Right.
They were just there, you know? But
You
the
know,
good
some
thing
of them
was-
ended up there because they skipped school too often.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Parental love.
I know about 4 guys or whatever, thief some people for all of their friends, I mean, and they went to scare it for it. And it's poor people, children.
That's
and
right.
they turn out to be good people.
Hey, those are white people, you want things,
The
British
kids.
people.
Mango and oranges on Hyman Village that look like a ghetto today. You know, you all know Hyman Village? You know Hyman Village?
No, what
At the time, we would know.
You know?
Hyman Village is
Steve August.
Yes, Steve would
No, I know.
Okay.
start a government house and go all the way.
Stephen, yeah.
Yeah.
It's between my academy school there, yeah.
All the way across
Cemetery?
on the cemetery road. It might probably would stop
Yeah.
right there by where Murdoch and them. Right
Right.
there. But
Okay.
on the east side, there's a doctor and Colonel Branch and
Pickett,
yeah,
Joe
no,
Pickett family.
I mean, the worst
So-
people who were there, Pickett. You will know that but they were the richest people there too. But the rest of the side there was like doctors,
Professionals.
and, professionals and lawyers and whatever.
Almost white.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're play white too.
But you know what? Why
Dr.
security
McDonald.
such athletes? They were right beside boys' school.
That I was
and
gonna
they had
say,
boys' school
that
training.
they're
When
telling
they
that
put
the
them to
boys'
Grace Hill, forget it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody produce anything.
And you know, they were serious discipline, and I'd see them come downtown in the early morning, well dressed, pressed, and they're selling lettuce, tomato, and carrot. You see, you know,
Yeah, they had a garden.
right? That's right. You see where the park there, where that big parking lot is on the other side of the community bank,
Yeah,
Western Boys School on the.
yeah,
That a garden
With the
there.
22 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these guys, I mean, and they will have to get back up in time to go to boys' school, you know.
But they
It was a boot camp.
there were two famous guys who were names he had scared.
Bayam.
Bayam and Tompito.
Tompito, yeah.
Yeah, they say he's a
And you know who could play too? I remember the guy that had the one arm,
One hand guy. Yeah.
One wing.
One wing.
one wing, yes, he could bat, because he had a special bat, a short bat.
Yeah.
But he played very good cricket.
And would bowl fast.
With one arm?
Yeah, and bowl fast.
Yeah.
Bowl fast with one arm.
He became a success story in New York. He was working for a very rich guy. I think he drove like a limousine. What was he called himself? Trevor Bailey. Trevor Bailey, I'll never forget that. Yeah, but he was in New York for a while, doing very well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the old antique.
Yeah.
I mean, the new one, I don't even talk about
Right.
it. I can't talk about the new antique because I'm too old to talk about it.
But you see, like in old days, the British system, in my opinion, is bad for black people.
And yes and no.
No, yeah.
Say yes, man.
They had-
Black people.
When I say yes and no, so maybe when I say yes and no, what do you mean by that?
There's some good things that we would have inherited from them,
Right.
but they
I agree.
They
I agree with
destroyed
that.
us. Look, if I tell you, and I'm going to say it, I believe two of the worst people I met at the antique grammar school who were teachers, when I call their name, you're all going to be shocked. One named Blackett and one named Shorey. They were from Barbados.
Two majors.
Yes, and all they did is humiliate poor people in this Antigua grammar school. You know what I'm telling you, especially Blackett. Right? Blackett
Yes.
only attached himself to people who were brilliant. He didn't look out and say, here's a little poor boy, maybe this is the problem he's having at home, he needs some assistance, so let me assist him. He was going to go to a funds derrick, you hear say? And maybe Bennett, even though Bennett was a poor boy from
Clear.
Clear, right? You didn't see them set about to help, poor people, and they cause a lot of people develop complexes because of them people there at grammar school, no.
Blackett used
But
to.
you mentioned, and as an aside, you mentioned Bennett. Do you know that Bennett, Dr. Bennett as he became, was extremely well respected in China?
China.
Yeah, he taught them advanced maths during, he used to spend his summers and stuff
I
there.
think he worked for the Pentagon,
You know,
For the who?
Pentagon.
He wasn't teaching in Manitoba?
he used to be in Canada.
Yeah, but he ended up, I remember, as he was saying, because he and Ozzy
Yeah.
on the fence.
Well, they
That he
want
was
to
working
go
with-
down,
he was-
to go home.
He was working in for the.
But I heard
US
what
military.
Steve mentioned, I heard about that. He did that to work with Chinese people. I heard about that.
Yeah,
Maths.
he got transferred, but he was
Mathematics.
also.
When he was teaching in Canada, he spent his summers
Summers over in China. He probably talks Mandarin.
You had to blame him for what the Chinese have accomplished. No, he was. He taught me maths.
Yeah,
Very good.
they picked him up from the U.S., working for the U.S., so
Right.
he was good. That's what his husband said to me in 1996,
Okay.
that he was there. You know.
My friend from Jamaica saying hello. I would say hello to Carl Beckford. She's working West Indies Cricket Board as a marketing manager.
Oh,
She's
yes.
watching the show, so just say hello to you guys.
Yeah, hello to say hello to her.
I tell you, some controversial guys here today.
So how can people hear how can people hear you misbehaving? Yeah, booming all over.
It's
Jamaica,
It's consistent with my.
New York, Australia, everybody watching you guys.
Early she has been on the show too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's people in Jamaica.
We need a few minutes to talk about Wesley. What
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I was going to touch on that with Wesley Challenger. Kind of said you bring him as a goalkeeper. How is he as a goalkeeper, you think?
Wesley was a very good goalkeeper, very good.
Right.
Wesley's problem, he didn't anticipate too well, and so he had to dive to save the ball.
Right.
And so he became very spectacular, very attractive to watch.
Right.
But if he was a little bit better in anticipating, he'd have made it look easy.
Yeah.
But he made it look hard, and he did save it. So he was a good goaltender.
Okay. So for me, from what you're saying there, Wesley, like a Jeff Dujan, Wesley is, because for me, Jeff Dujan just dive like Wesley, for me, can skip one and collect the ball.
Some people are like that.
He was like,
but they get the job done.
Yeah. But in terms of what kind of person he was, though.
I can tell you, then Pat can say.
Yeah.
Wesley was a nice guy, very nice guy, pleasant to everybody, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But he was extremely competitive in everything he does: cricket, football, athletics.
Right.
And why? Because his cousin, they grew up as brothers, Barry, was 2 years older, and Wesley had to compete with him
Okay.
as they were growing up. Pat, Jax?
There's not much I can add to that.
But Wesley was a very good athlete too.
No, we said that.
That's what he said.
Well,
He track and field,
Who's that?
and he
Wesley.
cricket, yeah.
Of course, Jack was saying he and Wesley represented.
Yeah, well, he played all sports. He swam, he played cricket, football, track, table tennis. He
And
played table tennis too. A lot of folks don't know he played table tennis.
Yes, he was a sweet boy.
So he speak on Jack?
what?
He speak on Jack? Jack say just one for the high school girls.
All you have to do is say, you see some fine lady in town. We're all teenagers, eh?
Right.
Next thing you
I
know.
know you-
Oh, he was a ladies' man. He was a ladies' and he had a Jack was his father's car. But I don't know if he had a license, but he drove. I think he was driving since he was like 14, driving his father's car. So
He's
he.
driving to school while he's sitting down at Tanner Street corner by Murphy. On Murphy
Chance to go out.
Yeah, Charlie Garage was there. Yeah, but yeah, he drove. He had transfer. He was very generous too. Let me tell you, he was very generous. He would spend money, didn't make you spend a dime. I mean, I'm coming from New York. He said, no, your money no good.
That's why
He's going to be spending money.
You didn't hear that? Yeah, that's why he was with friends? He did the spend. Of course not. You friends.
Well, they had money. Them people had money. Your Challengers had money. Your father was a dispenser. Miss Challenger, she worked. The father, the uncle, Eric. Well, Eric was the acting governor or something like that.
Permanent secretary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they're all thing. But Wesley practiced a lot. In football, we used to go up to school like in the afternoon, and he'd put 25 cents or 50 cents on the goal post. And who scored him, they got their money. That's how he used to practice.
Okay.
And he always had money because his grandmother, who spoiled him, will give him money. So you will go to the movies. You wake up there in the afternoon and you try to score him. Even now, Welling used to come up there to practice. That's why Welling practiced all his penalty kick.
That's right.
Welling, I don't know, a lot of folks will know, Welling was one of the best penalty kickers.
Yeah, that's another thing. He played
in
school,
Cuba.
for the,
Yep.
Yeah.
He was the penalty taker.
Well,
You see that in the same
Yeah, he
way
did not
with
kick
Reverend?
hard, he didn't think, but he placed the ball,
Yeah.
and that goalkeeper had to be very good
Oh,
or
he
guess
did
the
his hand
right
in the
corner.
post.
okay.
Yeah. You see, like how Veron played in respect to penalties. Welling
Yeah.
like that. I mean, if you going to save or Welling hit, you're going to have to hit the goal post. Your head also.
Hey, look, I want to say something to you. Vern wasn't that good.
As a soccer player,
Vern was so good, man.
no, you must.
I know you watching it. That's why I said that. I want to tell you, instead of
Penalty kicker.
Vern is so good on penalty. Very good midfield. Not penalty like William.
No, we didn't say he was good as well. I don't know, though, we're not comparing them now.
So, Veron, a grammar school man too?
No, even the player.
How good was Veron as a cricketer?
Very good batsman.
Very, very good batsman.
Almost like Derek Michael,
Derek
nice
Michael, yeah.
touch player, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's
I,
what was lacking.
I think Jerome Tittle was the best of the Gay Farm lads.
I think so.
Yeah, and Bob Jerome Tittle.
Was a spectacular, but he was bad for our
athlete, great footballer, Joe.
Yeah.
great
And he
football.
played good ping pong now.
Yeah, I know, you see him
Yeah.
pretty good. Wait, he did at the factory, I'd play at the factory, that.
Yeah, and he didn't like me because we were both competing. The competition was keen, so you know he had this thing about it.
Factory had a very good team at one time, football and so.
Yeah.
Jerome went to Green Bay School, Pomeroy's brother went to Green Bay School, and I went to Green Bay School at the same
But
time.
what was this guy, Shepherd? I heard that was
Keith
Shepherd, yes.
No, but he
Chaos.
Much
he
earlier.
got involved after we had migrated.
Oh, okay.
I saw a little bit of him playing cricket with Antigua and Taddy and them and so on.
Right.
I won't say anything more because
see, KS,
naming the park after him is
When KS was 15,
Uh-huh.
I took him to Guadeloupe. And when I come back, I say, what are you doing? He said, nothing. But there are certain things he would have learned. 15 years of age.
Right.
I took him to
What kind of
Guadeloupe.
team
and
was
get
that?
permission from his mother.
What kind of team?
It was our local Acme team.
Local Acme team.
The year before, I left and the guys won.
Okay.
Acme.
Eh?
You know, you
Acme
mentioned,
team is it?
Yes.
yeah, you
Okay.
mentioned that Acme
Yes.
played games against Guadeloupe and Martinique on several occasions.
maybe. Yeah.
Well, I started it at the
because
time.
yeah, and back then, early 60s,
Listen.
both Guadeloupe and
I did-
Martinique
it-
all
Steve,
used-
Steve.
Acme was us.
used to
Steve,
yeah,
you know what
come and
happened?
play
It used to
against
come here to
Antigua.
Jets. Used to come to Jets mostly.
Hey, listen. Steve,
Yeah.
That's the Jets.
Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know I was.
Yeah.
you know what happened? When we left school now, nobody assessed us who we were, and then we were poor people picnic, right? And everybody knew we were going to play for Maple or whoever, established teams. We said, no, we're not playing with nobody. We got no.
I mean, it was over the team. Portuguese.
Yeah.
Well,
and guess what?
Yes.
He went out of his way to draft a guy named Leon Francis, I think.
Yeah, I know that.
Because Tim went to boys' school with him, and Tim sensed that we were trying to make it the all grammar school.
No,
side
no,
still.
no, never,
I said no.
Not from the start. I would never be involved with that.
Tim said, "Not that."
Leon, if I maybe watching it now. Hear me talking every day. Leon, maybe watching the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're watching? No.
Leon is a guy from
Yeah, Leon is in-
Canada, living in Canada.
Leon is in Florida.
He's in Florida.
I'll tell you something off the air though,
Okay.
with something that happened. Well, I won't make it on the air.
Okay.
You know, no, I personally never ever would want to develop grammar school only people.
No.
Right.
No.
We're not like that.
No, not
We're
at all.
not like that.
Look, we had Maple and we had
Unique and so on.
Unique
Grammar
and so on,
school boys.
all grammar school boy.
Yeah, so no.
So when it comes to elitism and so on and so forth,
We're not doing that.
Our special guest here today is the chairman of the Old Boys Association of Grammar School.
Yeah.
But you know his father pretty well, Ivor Walker.
Ivor Walker, yeah.
That's his son, Ivor Walker Jr. So I invited him to come because Pat said he wasn't coming, so I know come here, Ivor, have a seat.
I see terribly honored to be among all these gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Jackson, know this guy here, Jackson?
Colonel Walker.
Do you want me to take off this? Yes, he died in May.
Yeah, but I know his wife also, I left.
Yes.
I know when I went to Maryland and all that.
Okay.
That's when I walk about.
Yes, his sister, Thora and Heather, two sisters actually.
Heather might have been living in Toronto.
you have one that's married to a guy
Lane?
who has a restaurant cooking place there.
That's my cousin Barry.
Barry.
No, female. She's married to the guy. And she always talk about forget it for now.
All I'm going to say is that my grandfather was quite a wayward fellow, so I
We're finding out.
Like his grandson.
Be careful.
Okay.
We're finding out it's not just his hearing that's important.
Be careful about what you say. What you saying about your grandfather? Freddie Jarvis was married to his aunt,
Yes, Freddie Jarvis, yes.
and her name was Walker.
Could it be Freddie's daughter?
No, Freddie's daughter is younger than I am. Yeah.
No, a light-skinned person. Very light-skinned person. No, I think it's Dory's daughter. Anyhow.
I guess we stick to what Steve just said.
Yes.
But you probably know my uncle too, right? My uncle is Winston.
They're from
Winston.
Yeah, Winston Walker. Germs.
the Germs.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's
You know
my
he's
uncle.
married to Seki?
Your cousin?
Yes.
Robert.
Precisely.
Yes, I see. Yes, 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 yes.
So it's a small world.
Very small world it is.
It's a small.
So Walker, I tell you say that you are the chairman for this Old Boys.
Yes, blame Don Charles for that. He twisted my arm, hoodwinked me with, and
Right.
called me one day and told me a bunch of things. And
Didn't ask. He
yes.
says, I think you're the one.
Yes, yes. Didn't give me a chance. And
Oh, so
all of a-
Steve set you up.
No. Don Charles did that.
Okay.
And all of a sudden there was a vote, and that's all the listen. I realized,
It's funny how people have said to you know, when I became a leader and selector in a tally, guess what happened? Nobody asked me, no. Hutton called me one day and said, Pat, you're leader and selector, and I nominated you. So didn't ask me whether I agree, whether I accept or whatever.
Must be
You're leader and selector. Don't worry. We submitted your name, and I tell them, don't worry, he's going to be there.
So,
yes.
But look, I just want to interject now to that. Seki, he has this stuff he wanted next year for the old boys. It was Founders Day. So he said, I will invite you. Well, it's something special, for the old guys. But
So I shouldn't be here.
no, but what happens to I was saying to Seki.
Daddy, where do you fit in?
No, I was saying I want the old guy. I was saying to Seki that, hey, look, let's invite you here.
Yes.
Because I want to start to market the old boys, the next old boy Founders Day for next
Not
year.
that far away in 6 months.
We should not up with
I want to express this.
We right now we have at Intellectual Property just awaiting the approval of the official documents. We're as a non-profit company, AGS
We
Old
can
Boys
incorporate
Inc. So we become a legal person. We have a few projects. The board we have not met for a couple of months actually, because I have bad habits. If we're going to meet, we're going to have something to do. So I was working on this thing too with Claire Roberts Chambers, an old boy, of course, who is doing this pro bono for us. And the intent is to have some form of reunion and also heading towards Founders Day to make it worthwhile.
This year?
Next Founders Day coming. So we're open to any sort of idea, any sort of concept that to make it to enhance the Founders Day.
Okay.
So I mean, we're open to anything that.
Well, okay. Well, let me then use the opportunity to talk about what happened. When Wesley Challenger died, I hate to take any credit, but I called up Barry, his cousin / brother, and Sports Avery Jacobs. And we wondered what we could do to make people be aware of how great Wesley was an athlete, because the person who told me, she only knew Wesley recently and all the negative things about Wesley. So the three of us decided that we are going to have a reunion of our 1962 team, and we're going to invite, try and get everybody, And then we expanded it to cricket team because Pete James, the cricketer, he died more recently. And then we decided all the people who were at school, non-players, from 1960 to 1962, we'll also get them involved in form of a reunion. Our idea was just to get people acquainted, first of all, for a reunion and to highlight Wesley. And we are doing that. I came down, I spoke to the headmaster, and we also chose Founders Day. But we had chosen Founders Day a year before, but because of COVID, we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
When Barry said that he could not come on Founders Day, we were looking for a new date sometime before Carnival, before we could get it done. So this is not really an old boys group. It's a group put together only and for the sole purpose of reintroducing Wesley to a lot of people who don't know that Wesley was one of the better athletes in his day, involved in 3 sports, representing the country in 3 sports at the same time: football, athletics, and cricket. And so that's what we are aiming for. The same weekend, when we went to the principal, he said that Founders Day would not be a good day for us to meet with the school population. We could meet with the 4th and 5th form on a Friday. And so, right now, on the Saturday, we plan to have a sort of dinner and a recognition for Wesley. We might include, and it is a subject when I discuss with the guys outside of the country what they want to do. We might include people like Evie Zarone, Viv Richards, and the Governor General, because he was at school at the same time.
Okay.
And for me personally, I would like to recognize Osborne, Franz Osborne, because he's quiet, he doesn't want anything, and he was instrumental in getting me connected to the principal. At the same time, we are thinking of giving something to the school, and that is in the works. And that's the extent in which we want it. After this, we're out. Okay? we just
it can't be out like that.
One tip. You play one tip.
like 220.
We're getting more involved now. Well, in fact, I spoke to the Governor General too. He's very interested.
Okay. Well, the thing about it is that we didn't see and we didn't know of anything beyond what we're doing. So what I've done, I've contacted a lot of people, including Taddy, and tell them, what we have in the works. And so we're trying to get all the, like Jacks, we're trying to get everybody outside and then a group of people inside. Because what we need is a place, an affordable price, and that's about it.
Well, one of the things I recognize over the last, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months since I've been chair, is that we have all different levels, all different groups, different pockets, and most of them started as WhatsApp groups. For argument's sake, my group, those who graduated or who left school in 80, last installation of Dr. Blackett, we call ourselves Black Stars, AGS Black Stars, spelled badly, of course, but because there is a sort of connection, a fraternity there. And then I found out there were actually other groups who come together. Now, and one of the things that in my mind, as you rightly said, grammar school, we're all encompassing, from different levels, different groups and so on. And there's one common thing about us all. We're grammarians. I've just seen a natural streak coming right down. What I'm afraid of is that the youngsters are losing that because persons seem to be not connected with the traditions of the school. So I'm hoping that based upon your initiative there, and some other groups have all sorts of bits of initiatives, we can have everybody come do their little part, because I guess I'll be more familiar with my group and you'll be more familiar with your group, but we also need to get familiar with each other. Okay. So yes, meet the individual group needs, but also have one occasion at some time within that period of time where we really dominate the school ground, so to speak. And you know, as Steve was just saying to me a while ago, I mean, I remember those days because I mean, when I joined grammar school, when I came to grammar school in 72, 73 around there, you know, one of the things I came on to Samuel Dish, as we call him. You know, of course, you know, traditional grammar school, everybody has a nickname, yeah. So one of the things that we learned is that you just go down the road and you say, I went to grammar school, and there you go to get a little job there to do this. We've lost that. You know, we've lost that. And it's important, I think it's important for the youngsters to understand that, look, you must maintain some sort of, as we say in the military, esprit de corps, some sort of pride. And you understand that if I meet a grammarian, I'm expected to behave in a certain way, and I'm expected to be helped in a certain way. You understand what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
You know, so I am for what you're saying, and we can incorporate all that. You know,
here's what I could suggest. The Friday, as the principal had said, our group would meet with the school people, exchange ideas about that. The Saturday night, we want to reserve that for
yourself,
program.
yeah, of course.
The Sunday is open, and maybe the Sunday you could do something in terms of what you plan to do, and we could be a part of it on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Monday, as the principal said, too many things happening, so we just go to church and meet other people.
Yeah, of course. Well, certainly. I mean, it's a work in progress. We can do it. You know, what drives my mind here is that when I left grammar school, and we celebrate 100 years, a few years after.
Yeah.
I still have I was looking for it to bring it. I know I have it, but I was embarrassed to bring it because, of course, it's nice and slim, and of course, look at me now. you know what I mean? That was, but of course, I'm a Phillips House man. When I joined grammar school, I was Oflex, but I'm not Phillips House.
And Pat, and Jax.
Jax. So the real house. The house. You know?
I excuse me with throwing in this,
Jack's still here?
but you realize their color is yellow.
Huh? Yeah, you got
and
take it where you want to.
You know,
as I told one of my brothers was Phillips.
Okay. So what that year when I went to grammar school, of course, you know, we still had old boys race. And if Dexter Pell watching, I'm going to beat you again. Even at age 60, I'm going to beat you. We have this constant rivalry. This rivalry is going on for years now. I beat him.
I forget all about that.
Yeah, it was a big rivalry. We both did middle distance, 800 and 1600.
How many of Chuck's shoes on?
Well, I mean, so we have this rival going on, and I remember when we met there for that celebration. I was amazed. They brought out this book. It's just like a registry or something, and there was hundreds of names there, hundreds of names. And you know, I cannot express the feeling when I saw my name amongst that thick book of all the persons over the years who went to grammar school. And then they brought out some old copies of the Grammatica, the magazine. And I saw Sidney Christian, an article by Sidney Christian, his nickname Spooks. A few weeks after, he was by just west of Glens Pet Paradise, by that mechanic place there. Mr. Craig, yes. And I was walking across there and I said, Spooks! He looked at me. He said, wake it up! I said, I'm going here, and I saw it. And he, you know, the smile came at me. He put his hands on me and said, boy, you know, long anybody call me like that. You know? So that was a good feeling. And I think this is I felt good, having just left school a few years prior, that I could associate myself with that sort of thing. And this is, in my mind, this is what I'd like to see when we celebrate Founders Day, that all the youngsters can you know, be connected with some of the older guys, you know, some of the young old boys with the old boys and the middle-aged old boys, you know. And these days I understand now there are a few girls on the chat, few ladies on the chat. And they get very upset. They consider, they say they're grammarians.
Yeah. Plus, the sixth form in every school in Toronto at one stage went to grammar school.
Yes. We're the dominant.
Paul, on the radio. Yeah, I would say that. In his grammar school, high school, and grammar school.
Yeah.
Paul keeps saying that. Paul Quinn.
Yes.
Keeps saying that with his grammar school. couple of years high school, grammar school.
Oh, he was there with the mixed group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was
And
it?
I also reminded folks the other day on the chat, I reminded them, I'm actually, from the time I left the military, I completed my service in 2015, and I'm more busy now than I was then, you know. I'm into scouting, all kind of things, you know. And I had to remind folks on the chat that scouting started in Antigua Grammar School, you know. Yeah, scouting started in Antigua Grammar School. I was a cadet also. Cadet started in Antigua Grammar School. So, you know, we have some fine traditions, but I'd like to not only let the public be aware, but let the current students know, like, you stand on the shoulders of many men.
And we have to learn to behave properly.
Yeah, you know. So,
go ahead and fight in the school and organization.
Yeah, I can't even say that. I mean, I'm not going to say that we didn't have our fights, you know, but there were.
No, but we
were different
we
types of
have
fighting.
rules of fighting.
Exactly.
Rules of engagement. They don't have none.
Just anecdotally, when I was grammar school, Mrs. Lewis, Uselin Lewis, was our principal. She was not one mark, she was Miss Samuel. And girls were up there, and this guy, apparently, whatever happened up in third form, because I would think I was in first or second form, what happened in the higher forms. And these two guys came up to defend, I suppose, their sister or their cousin, and talk about their black belt and so on. You know, put up stands and so on. Lindy Winter. Lindy Winter said, your black belt. Charles about the school. Charles about the school. Yeah. And Mrs. Lewis said, serve your right. You have no right. You have no orders to come on the school counter. And you know, of course, as youngsters, we were there. Yeah, cheering. These are fine traditions, you know. I mean, but,
I don't know if you're there. What happened to us was they encouraged us to fight. No weapons.
That's right.
And when two people challenge each other, you can bet 4 fights going to fight, because people are going to push each other to see what's happening.
Yeah.
You push me. Fight and break. And so when you start one fight, you had about 5 fights for 3 weeks.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, that was internally. That was internally. When we went out there, we were all grammarians defending the school.
Oh yeah.
You know, defending the school. That's what I appreciate.
I mean, one of the things that we never talk about was the competition between houses.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
You know, that was what developed us.
Yes.
And then you pay for the school and, you know, you're all one.
We're now at a point where people say there shouldn't be competition. So my whole life has been competition.
You have to have competition.
Everything is competition.
It's the rules of engagement that matters.
You can't say that, you know, you don't encourage the kids to compete. There was this nonsense for several years. You don't hear it as much anymore, thank God. Where it said, oh, nobody is a loser.
Yeah, give everybody a trophy.
You lost. You lost.
You win.
Oh, you won. You know, you can't say, oh, it's just the participation is that. No. Certainly for me, I didn't do anything not intending to win.
Right.
You go and you give your best. If you didn't win, you knew why.
And you had to.
And you know what to do next time.
That's right.
But every effort to win.
Why we're laughing is, Steve, you couldn't mention nothing like that to Vivi just.
No.
Everything Vivi does, you want to win.
Of course.
To win.
Anything, if you're mad, everything is about winning.
Of course.
As I told you yesterday when we spoke, I grew up on South Street. After I left Villa, from Villa, but I grew up on South Street. And when Vivi would come around on a Sunday, we have this tennis court mark off in the street, you know, and hand tennis. And of course, Vivi would come around and go say, everybody playing tennis. He said, give me a play. You know, he's very aggressive. You know, give me a play. Once he gets there, you know, of course, everybody get beat off. Everybody get beat off.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, this is Sunday afternoon activity, and you know, and of course, he had this little screw thing. You bam, and the ball just spin. I mean, he was just competitive everything. But guess what? It raised the level of everybody. Everybody wanted to improve.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But that was good for you. Vivi don't have anything to lose. I remember when he came to grammar school, they made him captain. So picking the team, you know, I was here before. So another guy. So he said, we picked 9, settled on 9, no problem. So we need 2 from about 4. So he said, pick Mervyn, man. Mervyn better than Steve, man. He said, no, Mervyn can't better than nobody. So he said, said Mervyn, no, Mervyn a good time, man. Mervyn Jumacra, man. When I can pick him. So he said, Viv, Mervyn better than the man. Then he said, no, Mervyn can't better than nobody. Mervyn clown man.
I know.
So now we play this match in grammar school, played in recreation grounds.
Yeah.
So two of the guys who you know, he picked, the other said not to pick. They misfield 2 bars. So he came by me and said, Jumbo, come, you know, Mervyn better than them.
No, but competition drove the school. As a matter of fact, competition inspired me. My uncle was one of my grandfather's children, born in Dominic. We went to Dominic Grammar School, then came to Antigua. And I remember when I joined grammar school, he was so instrumental. He made sure I don't know if he got the contact, got me a tie and whatnot and everything else and so on. But he's the one who took me to recreation ground to see AGS versus Empire Premier League. I keep on boasting, only school ever coming to Premier League. Vivi Richards, Mervyn, Turtle, then Liz Boys. And I looked up, remember the old stand with, you know, and the whole stand, everybody in there white, AGS the best, AGS the best. And I said, that's where I want to go. I go in the hall. I ended up in grammar school, you know. That was the inspiration for me, you know.
Yeah.
That's a shaky time.
Yes.
So you get all the guys over there who play. All the guys over there.
Well, as I was saying, Barry and myself, before we went to the school, we were in a position to admire the boys at school, and they were great role models for us, you know. And playing against Empire, and so it was interesting. As I said, I went to Green Bay School, and I never left my Green Bay School friends. So I'm playing, and scouts from Grace Farm, and we tussle each other. Scout tell me, if you ever come to Grace Farm, I'm going to do this to you. Real cool, one of this man said, Seki, you could touch him, and I beat the shit out of you. I felt good as one of the boys from Grace Farm and beat the school. But Empire, I had some players who were afraid of Empire guys, just a name, you know. But they're regular guys, man.
Jack still there? No? Okay.
Oh, Jack left.
But that's good. That's
Who did put it?
Pudding played for, I think, Atomic.
Atomic.
That's right. Yeah,
That's
some point.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
he played for Atomic. Yeah.
Atomic.
Put them on paper with just.
I don't know. I left at 67, so I don't know if it happened later.
And the Empire was a fearsome team.
Yeah.
Empire was very some team, and there's a lot of history. They kick out Empire. I got them back in. Most of the Empire played for Acme that year, because, you know, you see, the thing about Empire guys is this.
They were nasty.
No, they're not nasty. I adopted Churchland, and I went there, and I became one of the Churchland guys. And I'm playing for Church Lane, and they tell me, hit him, push him, do everything like him.
Wait.
You know?
I say play with Church Lane. What did the name of the team with Church Lane?
But just a pick-up side.
Pick-up side.
And play with Church Lane.
Okay.
And the guys tell me,
Oh, he's back.
yeah, Obi, they had the Obi played, yeah. Obi actually played for Acme too. I got Obi in, and I used to pride myself and said, I have Les the banker, Obi, whatever you want to call him, and things like that. You see, after I took the guys down to Guadeloupe, they started to stay with each other. So all the team I played with, the first Acme and Arsenal, they amalgamated, and I was left with nothing. So I had to go to Princess Margaret to go Gatey, Tony, Starchy. And I developed these guys.
Starchy, maybe watching it now.
Me? Starchy, if you're watching, remember when I sat you down? See, I was more than a captain. I tried to be a leader. Starchy was a very selfish player. So we're going to play against the number one team.
More serious than Pat.
Pat had two plays, right? You get the ball and you run around you, or you get the ball and you kick it straight to get the goal. All right? Now, Starchy was a great player, a good player, you know. But Starchy was selfish. And I warned him. And I said, you know, please listen to this. And so Starchy didn't do it. So we're playing the championship match, first round. I said, Starchy, come here. I want to sit you down. But the next game you're going to be playing. But I want to teach you a lesson. No, unfortunately, rain wash out the game, and then Starchy.
Rain wash out football.
Yes.
The field was
It was
water.
So Starchy was didn't missed out. So Starchy went and played, and never looked back. He tried desperately. He and Alatunje, I had to develop them using the left foot. See the great Alatunje tools?
Wait, your coach long time?
Yeah. You know, Pat was a selfish person. I would tell him that, Pat knows that. You know, he says he's selfish.
He says so.
You know, he said that. And nearly got Barnes in trouble. Branch gave Barnes the budget for all them things, and Barnes doesn't give us. So when Barnes started, but I don't know where he was going, Barnes says, take this from me, take the parts, take the gloves, take the this. All the things that he had budgeted for, we never get. Boy, Barnes turned black and blue. And after he finished, there was a silence, and we all walked out. And the meeting. No, I was more than a captain. I mean, Acme was a sport team that I developed. All these young guys, okay? So I got Starchy, this and that. No, we went to Guadeloupe because, let me go into it. I went to Guadeloupe on a holiday, me and sports. And they said, how come you have not come back to us? We went to visit you, and we sent all kind of teams, all kind of invitation to you. Nobody happened. So I went over to Market, the guy mentioned his uncle, and Roberts, Arthur Roberts. And I said to them, did you get an invitation? They said, yes. I said, why did you do anything? No. I said, you're fired. I'm going to get rid of you. So I went to all the teams, and I said, let's put an all-star team down there. Because I find at that point, my football could not develop if the teams weren't developed. So Arsenal took the advantage of it. And so we had a combined team there. When they came back, everybody wanted to play with each other. That's the same thing happening in the NBA now. When the guys play for the US team, they want to continue to play with each other. And that's why you see so much clique is developing, this person joining this person and so on. So the same happened. So when I look across this team, nobody on my team went to Guadeloupe and got the benefit. So I said, I went to those schools and I developed these players and so on and so forth. And when I left, the reason, when people leave, whatever they build normally fall down. But if you build it properly, it gets even stronger. When I was leaving, as I say, I was not only captain, president, all kind of bullshit. I called the 6 players together, and I said, choose your captain among you. And they choose Les. And if I had chosen a successor, I am not certain I would have chosen Les. And when I look back, there was absolutely no reason why anybody else should be chosen about Les. In the lesson I learned, in democracy, don't have one person to replace you. Have a team to replace you, and let the team determine who is the leader. Those are the lessons I learned. So I don't know the question yet. Oh, Alatunje. So Alatunje was a good player. He couldn't use his
Wait, was a good player?
Wait,
so much time they played the whole man team.
Jax there?
They did tools. They were good.
Yeah.
Tools was good, man.
What do you mean good? He's playing the whole man team now. He's watching all like that.
He was used to play.
The man that played good was Bugs and so.
Oh, Bugs what?
So
Sport marks Bugs. I marked him. Pin. Pin never shot a shot in the goal. We beat them. They won the championship. We beat them twice, 1-0 and 2-0. They never got a shot. Sport harassed Bugs. Jesus Christ! And when he managed to get you to Pin, I just wait and Pin. When Pin make a move, I just back. When he move back. He didn't get a shot in goal.
But I just became a member. Who was Churchill the biggest supporter of the fan?
Who was?
Yeah, this is the cheerleader.
First team.
Churchill. If you get a card.
Churchland had a team in London.
This is the supporter.
Supporter.
Greatest supporter.
Booms?
Oh, that's it. That's it. Could walk inside.
I see. I know what. You see, I know what I'm talking about. Booms.
That's all they get.
There's a saying that Booms one time learned to walk straight. They go with some mango tree, and they only came off the belt, and then they jumped over the fence, and they said, "I never seen the tree." I'm talking about all of them.
As we wrap up, we have about 10 more minutes.
Okay.
I know, Mr. Walker, you're the chairman for the. I know Steve don't like the name Old Boys.
No, he mentioned something about
You see,
old boys. So I said, I guess that excludes me.
old boys is a nice term. As you get older, it says senior old boy.
You know, something I started discovering about, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, a little longer. I started to discover that I was the little boy in class. You know, so that 3 years ago, and 1 or 2 before that, the guys started turning 70, and I'm there saying, that can't be, we're in class together.
Yeah.
And I'll go to them, and I remember one say, Steve, you two damn lie, you 2 of us were in class together. And as it turns out, God's willing, I will reach 70 in November.
What time in November?
25th.
Oh, yeah, that's
but my classmates, for the most part, have gone there. They have gone.
But the joke is to me, you know, one day, I found my partner buy some lunch over by first committee first. And some guys in my grammar school, little fella said, you see the size stone time?
No, that's a shocking thing about it, you know. I mean, I make a habit when I see Grammarian students walking around, I say, "Oi, Grammarian, come here." Oh, Syrian, of course, you know, pushing the yellow house thing, you know. What's your nickname? And this sort of thing. And I'm looking at these fellas and I'm saying, wow, you know, I could not have been like that. I could not have been.
You weren't that smart. No, I think there's a reduction in size over the years. Not true.
Definitely. When I came to grammar school, there were guys who were like
big giants.
Yeah, with beard in their faces or this is a thing in grammar school. You stay there till you're old, you know. You know, I mean, I'm looking at what is it? Not impossible. Impossible. I could not have looked that.
Could look like that, you know.
See, remember when you see doctor when they say his brother, they were big guys always. Red shirt.
There's a guy called Wingrove. Where you were going in, you ride bicycle. By the time Wingrove was never a child. He was a big man going to school and so on. Let me give you a joke about getting old, right? Okay, I'll give it away. A few years back, I noticed everybody saying, sir. So I'm saying, my goodness, I'm looking distinguished. And the young people are saying, sir.
I realize getting old.
One day I realize it's honoring me.
I get the pops.
That's what I get. Pops.
So, young people are still respectful if you show them that you are not like the others who think they're the worst people in the world. True. You know? And I have serious problems with that. I defend young people all the time against others who want to put them down.
Okay, close him on
Yeah, well, you know, certainly, as I said, we
can meet afterwards.
Yes, and of course, we're trying our best to get things. As a matter of fact, Steve and I think someone else with you, there was a little discussion the other day about naming things at school and so on. We have, I'm a strong believer that we need not abandon all our colonial masters.
The values. That's what Pat was saying. Bad.
You know,
we didn't get into that.
Maintain those.
There were some great values.
There are classrooms, there are fields that we can add names, and Steve is leading charge with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. This is
dictator. He's telling you have to do it.
I'm only going with traditional because I mean I was told that you had to be house captain. I mean, you come in one day and you're a prefect, okay? You know, what do? You know, but we're trying to do that because but you know, keep the legacy going. That's one of the things we want to do, and involve all persons who are Grammarians, because I really believe that the young people are not going to go anywhere unless they understand upon whose shoulders they stand. And to me, that's a very important. That inspired me. That allowed me to excel as a skiver in school, but thereafter, you know, I look back and I say, hey, look, you know, we have something to
Look,
keep up.
Grammar school and everything, we have lost the passing on our history.
That's right.
So the kids can be proud and understand.
Yep.
So start a grammar school, it's everywhere and everything.
Yeah. And I'm not woke. I still believe that as a grammarian, we have nickname. I'll give you just one final anecdotal thing.
Yeah.
So here am I in athletics now, you know, got a silver medal for 800 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Ambassador Hunt, Conrad Hunt, a grammarian. He's in Geneva now.
Okay.
Connie. You know, we live next door to each other. Yeah, we live next door to each
You
other.
went to the UN?
Yes.
Okay, I know of him.
Yeah.
So sweet, man.
So sweet, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Connie said, "What? My name was supposed to be Zeus. That's was supposed to be the nickname." Then I said, "What? You can run, man. Man, you just zoof across the place." And no matter how much I detested that name. All of a sudden, Zoof. So it turns from Z-O-U-S to Z-O-U-F. You know, Zoof. And so I got on the road and this youngster, Zoof! I said, young man, I was your prefect. Oh, you have some respect. Of course, and his face is gray like mine, and I'm saying, I remember when I was your prefect. Vale Hill, I was Vale Hill's prefect. I see Vale Hill is greater than I am. So the amount of age thing, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
By the way, my name is S-T-U-G-E, not T-O-O-G.
Well, I'm being Italian possible, so I don't can.
Yeah.
And I gave myself a name.
But we look forward to certainly getting you involved, being involved with you.
As I said, we spent 2 minutes afterwards.
Sure,
we
by all
can
means.
form up something.
Yeah. And Steve, your closing remarks?
Well, as usual, it's good to be associated with the grammar school and to be invited to be among the older boys.
Senior boys. Senior boys. Get me right.
Senior boys. And Daddy knows, I consider it an honor to whenever he invites me.
Right.
I'm able to do it. We've done it a few times. It's important that we remember where we came from.
True.
And as you just mentioned, that we try to encourage people to get somewhere. You know, it's the tradition is good, the accomplishments are good, but we needed to have it continue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's friendships last forever. You know, some of my best school, I have school friends from, you know, pre-grammar school.
Yeah.
I started out as a 4-year, the Moravian school, and ended up with a couple of those guys in grammar school. And similarly, at boys' school, and then we ended up in grammar school with some of those same boys. And so I have friends going back to what? 1959,
Right.
you know, from school, as a result of school. And we need to continue that. I know certainly with my children, the friendships that they have developed have turned out to be excellent friendships. And we need to encourage the youngsters to develop similar relationships.
Yes,
Right.
Stu, you're closing
You
remarks.
have been including. First of all, thank you for inviting me.
Even you tried to dodge me.
I I try to be inclusive. I share with the media and so on and so forth and so forth. And I would be in a room. I would be in a room with people who I'm with for 20 years and they don't know anything about me. Absolutely not. Anyhow, so thank you for inviting me. Oh, by the way, I just want to say something. People from Grace Farm and Church Lane, they're not nasty. What happens?
No, I meant the play.
The play,
The people.
The play is not nasty.
Creative.
Huh?
When they come from these areas, they know people look down on them. And so they have this tough exterior to show you, you think we're bad, we're going to show you bad and intimidate you. So when I was just playing for Church Lane, they say, don't hit him, hit him, hit him. They must be saying, oh, he's a nice boy, he's not one of us. So boy, I get this guy, and poor guy hit him. They say, yeah. I didn't have to hit anybody again. I had made the point, and they accepted me. But when you do guys, you have to be tough, you have to be aggressive, because they feel that society is putting them down, and that's one of the ways they can fight back. Okay, so one of the things I'm here for, of course, is to promote the rebirth of Wesley. Like everybody else, who knows about Wesley? Who knows about somebody who had simultaneously represented Antigua in 3 sports, athletic, football, and cricket? And so he died, and he was among the first of us who died from the 1962 football team. So it was natural, especially Barry, his cousin, who couldn't come to the funeral because of COVID and so on. It was natural for us to do some recognition for him. Yeah, okay. And then recently, Pete James, Pat's rival for cricket, and I'll tell Pat, you didn't have the talent that Pete, the heart that Pete had. Pete had a lot of heart. Yeah. You see, if Pete didn't, Everton Weeks told Pete, you boys can make, from small islands, can't make the thing. And Pete decided, okay, since I can't, shit cricket. And so by the time we had the last year in school, Pete decided that he was interested in cricket anymore. I see Soames was the fastest bowler in Antigua. He could also bat. I think the guy at 24, before he died from wrecking his car, he could have made the West Indies as a batsman or as a bowler.
Soames?
Soames. Pat Ass was supposed to bat number 4, but in the batting number 8, Soames. Pete went there and Pete put some 40 runs. He hits hooking, square cutting. You don't see square cut much often these times. He do everything. 40 runs.
You don't watch cricket, square cut.
You never watch square cut now?
Yeah.
Well, you guys don't square cut like Warren, man, with the grace and
no grace.
No, but
it's plumbing the ball.
Pete was agricultural. Bam, take that. Souls have never been wrapped up like that before. That's the last innings. I think Pete was decided to play well. After that, no more interest. So people don't know how gifted Pete was. And we're going to do a little bit of retrospective on Pete. Not much, because the focus is on
Wesley,
our reunion and Wesley. So that's what I'm here for. And now that I have met you, we can talk about, as I said, the Sunday's open, and wish you could take care of the Sunday. And so
you can talk about inclusive things, about the Sunday alone. Things can be inclusive. We can fit it in. But the Pete he spoke about, the Pete from the Susan Road, and
James.
Pete James, father of famous man named George James.
You saw Pete back?
I know, yeah, man, when I was small, watch Pete, aggressive guy, man, and his other brother was super than him. Lucine thing in him.
Well, Lucine was...
Yeah, super.
These are important names that we need.
Lucine died recently.
Lucine died recently. I think about a month or 2 ago.
Well, he's on the Susan Road.
Lucine lived kind of.
You're from the Susan Road?
Yeah, I know James and them. You don't know.
Yeah, Peter and I grew up together. We used to play thing and so on. I developed a lot of principle because of Pete. Pete and his team used to beat the shit out of me. And then and Pete and I never argued once about cricket or anything like that. So before we went to grammar school, we used to be around riding bicycle, wrestling, and so on and so
forth. But that was what Pete brother taught at grammar school too.
Errol used to be a regular guy. Errol thought to teach at grammar school, and to this day, he and Pete never get along. You know, when he going cross, you know, Pete, I must say, serious not to get along. Lucinda died told me, man, he wished that Errol could have come around. But from the time Errol turned, Errol got an attitude. He no longer a regular guy. He's some fucking big deal. He teaching us French.
We don't want to sit down with you. He's a preacher. Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. All right, excuse my French. You know what? I'm not putting on French people. Excuse my auntie. We're good, so. Sorry about that. So, Errol had an attitude, he teaching French. So some kids come from Guadeloupe and he talk with French to them. The kids burst out laughing.
You're not talking right, you're not speaking right French.
Wait. Conversational French.
Hey.
And French language, you know, same thing. The same thing with Trudeau, the older Trudeau. The older Trudeau is from France, is in Quebec and so on and so forth. But he speaks Parisian French. And you have Montreal and Quebec French. So, you know, so I don't know what kind of French everyone was teaching, but the kids started.
Hey, look, close the shut-off, man. Look, it's good to have all these guys here, you know what I mean? I haven't seen him, I've seen it recently with like a buddy. He used to come on the bass and all that. I didn't remember that. He used to come on the bass and play soundbar and bass, and stuff. He was like a buddy from South Street, you know. So you kind of like a buddy, you know, you say old now.
When you lived in South Street, there was a pecking order for every single thing. There's a pecking order for playing cricket, there's a pecking order for riding bicycle, there's a pecking order for playing domino, even pecking order for playing in brute force steel band between the eyes. No serious, you know. No serious pecking order, you know. You gotta behave yourself, you know.
You see, I'm lucky. Grace Hill was no big deal. So I could identify with Grace Farm. I could identify with Arthur's. That's all I used to go. I grew up as an only child. So I had to find friendship here, there, and everywhere. So I was always around, as I said, in grammar school, second to last year, I ended up in Church Lane as one of the boys.
Okay, that's it.
All right, guys. Okay, you want to say something? Oh, okay. Well, it was nice to have you guys, and I wish you all the best in your
initiative
endeavors.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say one last thing. I want to say like I told him so yesterday, the day before. He didn't want to come on the show. Right. So when he got in the show, he didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
That's
I guess he comfortable.
I didn't know myself, you know. No one's forgetting over anything. The last to leave. You know why she wake me up so early? Because she knew me I was late. even living abroad, they always late, but we're the last one to leave.
Talking about that.
We're the last one to leave.
This mine and driving down the road, by the stadium coming down the road. Phone rings. 8:19. Stooge ready. So I say, ready on the road now. He say, but it's already 9:20.
She wake me up. She wake me up at 10 to 8. 10 to 7, saying it's 10 to 8.
All right, guys.